All right, traders, it is the summer month and we're not getting a tremendous amount of volatility, but we're still getting moves on the currencies that we predicted would flow to the buy side and to the sell side. We're gonna be talking about those currencies in just a second. All right, let's roll the intro. All right, traders, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Top Trader channel. It's your head trader here, Kleveland. Hope you guys are having a fantastic week so far. August is about to end and we're gonna be in our last month of Q3, all right? And so as you guys know, summer months usually start to see a slowdown in terms of volatility. This month was a little different because of some of the things happening with the trade war and with Brexit. And so we got a little extra boost of volatility than we did in 2018 or 2017, right? But it's still not what we were getting earlier this year in spring and what we're probably gonna end up getting here in the fall, all right? So that is gonna be a really important shift, and I want you guys to pay attention to everything that I'm gonna be identifying today as a potential trading opportunity, obviously to give you guys that edge, all right? So guys, look, if you guys are new to the channel, what's going on? All right, happy to have you. We study up on fundamentals and we like to rationalize what's happening from the underlying moves of these markets. Okay, technicals, you're looking at the price charts and that's cool, but all these markets are moving for a reason. And so if you understand the underlying concerns of these economies, as we have all throughout 2019, 2018, 2017, we've been doing this since 2015, then you guys are gonna understand that, hey, you're gonna be able to understand and dictate where these markets are going better and better and better. All right, so guys, make sure that you sub, and if you like the video for your boy. I very much appreciate it. All right, so I am going to roll a clip real quick on what we've been trading, all right, in regards to the New Zealand dollar and the Australian dollar and the counterintuitive play to that, which is the Japanese yen and the CHF. Okay, take a look at what our ideas have been for the past video or two. Take a look at this. We are still actively looking to continue to buy those pairs. And as we were mentioning again in the video, if you go take a look at it, we were talking about selling the NZD and selling the Aussie. We want to do that as well, right? They are right now inversely correlated. So we'll keep an eye on that also. Okay, so there's a lot of opportunity. We're going to talk about a lot. Now, okay, we've been saying, guys, we might need to continue selling that Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar. Folks, we may need to continue buying that JPY and that CHF. If we go over to the charts, what do you guys think's happening? Okay, if we go take a look at real quick the NZD, today, for example, we have broken the all-time low of 2019, all right, on the New Zealand dollar. Since that video has came out, all right, since we've been pushing out this content detailing selling the New Zealand dollar and the Aussie dollar, that has been a combined sell of over 950 pips, just on those two currency pairs alone. All right, so we have many traders that have been taking advantage of that. If you guys have yet to get in on those price moves, I still don't think it's too late, okay? Trump has just talked about, as you guys remember, he just mentioned a tweet. I'll put a little screenshot here. He wanted to, he's mad that he didn't raise tariffs high enough on the China economy, okay? And so that is just creating more and more tumultuous issues in regards to this entire trade war, and it's gonna create an environment where the New Zealand dollar and the Aussie dollar are not going to be able to be so productive because, again, New Zealand and Aussie, their largest trading partner is who? China. Okay, so the bigger this trade war gets, the more these currencies are going to get affected. It's directly tied back over into the fundamentals. And so you're able to play that from a technical perspective by getting in on these positions, and that's exactly what I perceive that we'll be able to do. Again, so it's Monday, right? Where are these markets going to be by the end of the week, by maybe even next week? I think there's a possibility that we may see the New Zealand dollar lower than it even is right now. We have had a slight rebound, and if I show you guys here what we're looking like on the New Zealand dollar index, you will see that, yeah, okay, we did break the low, but markets are pulling back up just a bit. I want to show you guys what we're looking like on the fib, and we'll go to the weekly if you guys are new, just to establish what's been going on. Okay, so here's 2019, the beginning of 2019. All right, I'll draw that little line here when we first got in, and we were holding this structure for quite some time, trading to the upside a bit, but then slowly but surely we broke. Had a slight retracement. There was a lot of political nonsense going on during this time, as well as the weekly chart. And then we ended up just ripping sell side completely when Trump and Xi Jinping just said no. All right, they're not going to be working together, and they're going to do everything they can to make this trade war grow larger and larger and larger, right? And so right now we're sitting at the low of last year's Q3, right? So we haven't broken 2018 Q3 low, but we have broken the 2019 low. So we're still sitting around here in this consolidated area. It's going to be very interesting to see if markets are going to maybe stabilize here. Now, again, in the short term, I do think we can see a longer pullback, But from a technical perspective, you may start to see market participants saying to themselves, oh, here on this NZD, hey, this might be a small buying opportunity, or you may see markets pull back up just a bit. We'll see what happens. Okay, we'll see what happens. If this fundamental news that's coming out talking about, again, putting more tariffs on the economy, the China economy, if that starts to escalate, then yeah, the technicals don't matter. Markets are going to rip past that price level. But if there is a slowdown in the news events, then yeah, this might be a scenario where you might see a retracement back up into structure. Now here, let me show you what the Australian dollar is looking like as well. You guys can see we tested the low a little bit here. This is a weekly perspective here on the Aussie. If I head over to the daily, you guys will see that again, maybe a little bit clearer. So again, today we ran sell side, didn't quite get to the low here, but very much so we are testing these lows again. Now the Australian dollar is a little different. It hasn't been reacting the same way that the New Zealand dollar has, but they've both been very, very sell side. The only difference is the Australian economy is doing just slightly better than the New Zealand economy, just slightly better. But you can notice that the trend overall from 2018 to 2017 here when it comes to the Australian dollar is much, much more massive. Take a look at this. We see a massive sell side really channel that we have forming here on the Australian dollar that markets have not been able to escape out of. Okay, and so again, it's another scenario where, hey, markets have tested a previous low, or really just a large wick. Our market's going to be able to break this wick low and then shoot back to the upside. If we see some things that are adding up from a technical perspective, maybe. If not, then yeah, we're going to rip sell side again. Okay, and that's where really I want to put most of my bets, is seeing that this Australian dollar may push a little more sell side. Of course, also with that New Zealand dollar doing the same thing. Now, the counterintuitive currencies to this is what? The JPY and the CHF. As you see the JPY and CHF go to the upside, you usually are seeing the New Zealand dollar, right, and that Australian dollar going to the downside. Let's take a look. Let's see if the CHF and the JPY broke their all-time highs, right? They are inversely correlated. What do we get? Head over to the CHF, and then boom, you are in a scenario. Let me go to the daily here. You're in a scenario where you had that market test that high. It didn't quite break it here on the CHF, but you had that market test that high, and you see the opposite amount of market participants here in the CHF as you did in that Australian dollar. Now did the JPY break the high? It did. Okay, so you see the NZD and the JPY are kind of moving in synchronicity, and that Australian dollar and that CHF somewhat the same. The NZD and the JPY are reacting more than the Australian dollar and that CHF, probably because those economies are, if not smaller, less traded. Okay, so here JPY broke the high again, and what's going to happen? Are we going to continue to see these highs broken? Again, in my humble opinion, we are getting a fairly dramatic pullback, and we're going to have to assess this and really figure out exactly why so many market participants ran into this currency and are now turning the market around. But in my short-term view over the next month or 2 months, yes, we will definitely see the JPY. As we thought months ago, and you guys can see since April, this thing has been on an absolute tirade. As we thought, this market should continue to break to the upside. And we have since then broken the high that was created here back January 2019. So when it comes to a currency pair, what do you play? Now, we were looking at the Euro AUD. We were looking at the Euro AUD. The Euro AUD for us was an opportunity where we could see a market break to the upside, and that's a position that Kyler did call out over the weekend to everyone inside of the Academy. Academy is where everyone is learning fundamentals in a very, very deep capacity, right? All the different 15 fundamental catalysts that drive markets, they're studying up on that, and they're applying that knowledge here in the live market with us. And if that's something you guys want to do, you guys can click the link in the bio and schedule a call to maybe talk with one of our senior traders and figure out if you want to also learn how to trade fundamentals as well. All right. Now, the Euro AUD, we could potentially see, again, markets breaking that high, but we'd have to know what's happening on the euro. And if we look at the euro is a little bit sideways. It's one of the more ugliest currencies that we've seen in 2019 in regards to volatility. Look at the wicks. It's really a mess. Okay, so if you pull back over to the Euro AUD, the one thing I do like about this specific currency is that when it's holding a high like this, then usually you will start to see markets, especially if they are continuing to hold this high, you usually start to see markets come back, test that high, and we might be able to catch some breaks back up into structure. So this is the one trade that I do want to talk to you guys about, Euro AUD. We have a few other things that we're looking at again, but we like to save a lot of that stuff for our academy folks, but just throwing it out there, what it is generally that we're taking a look at. AUD to the downside, NZD to the downside, JPY. Can it continue breaking that high? It's the same trade. That's the cool thing about trading fundamentals. You're not trying to figure out what's the new pattern that's forming and all over the place. We can keep with the same thesis and just play those till infinity, okay? Until basically the edge and the opportunity is gone, and then we change basically the trading methodology, or really the trading opportunity that we're looking for, okay? But until we see this trade war thing resolved, we're going to continue with that position, all right? So guys, let me know what your thoughts are on this Euro AUD. I would like to see markets maybe pull back just a little bit more. Then I might be able to capture some runs up into structure. That's going to be pretty exciting. It's going to look something along the lines of trade back down into structure and then break back up into structure, right? Nothing too complex. That's the thing about technicals. Technicals should be very simple. Shouldn't be all this craziness going on in your charts, okay? Let me know what you think about this particular position, all right? What was interesting was the Euro USD, real quick. I was very surprised to see that the Euro USD ended up nearly breaking the low last week here Friday. You guys will notice that. So we'll also keep an eye on this position as well. That might be because we're getting a little bit of extra US dollar strength, but you guys can again see things are fairly consolidated. We'll see what happens. All right, so guys, look, if you got any questions for us, comment down below. These trends are still continuing, all right, all based off of fundamentals. Keep your eyes, guys, please keep your eyes on what's happening fundamentally in markets, so that way you can be your best in this trading game. All right, if you guys have any questions for me, let me know. Get inside that academy if you want to know a little bit more about fundamentals. I'll talk to you guys soon.